very good morning to you. Welcome to the sunshine of Florida, and here we are in Daytona for race 2 of TrofeoPirelli, which is about to get underway here in the Daytona Speedway circuit, where we use parts of the oval and we also use part of the infield circuit as well. Spectators here ready to enjoy what is a glittering festival of Ferrari across this weekend. It is the finale mondiale, and it's the final 2 races in the championship this year for the Ferrari Challenge. The European drivers, the North American drivers and the Asia Pacific drivers all as one on the grid. It's not the last racing they will do, because there is the glittering, what I consider to be the gold roof races to come, the world finals that will take place tomorrow, Sunday. Races.ferrari.com is where you can find out all the information you would ever wish to know with regards to the finale mondiale. And delighted to continue the annual Dave and Tony show, because alongside me is Tony Villander. Welcome back, friend. How are you?
Thank you very much. Really, really good. As you said, great atmosphere, great weather.
Yes.
And we saw some great racing yesterday and can't wait for today, and as you said, the final for Sunday.
5.729 kilometer circuit, which, Tony, I'm guessing you've driven maybe 4 or 5 times competitively.
Yeah, I've been here quite a few times in the Daytona 24-hour race. It's an exciting track. The oval, the banking creates something new, a new experience, especially for the European drivers. The infield is not the most exciting one, but still it gives you good racing. If you have a driver who wants to protect his racing line, wants to deny those overtaking opportunities,
yeah.
Infield you can do that, but once you hit that banking and go towards the top speed points, braking to the bus stop and braking to turn 1, definitely a driver can use that slipstream. Several racing lines also give you plenty of opportunities to overtake, and yesterday we saw some really cool stuff, overtaking to the lead of the race, and we even saw some safety cars and the restarts. Those often offer us exciting times.
Thank you, Tony. This is where we're at then, Daytona. Part of the romance for me, Tony Villander, yesterday was enhanced still further by racing under the lights. That is something very, very special.
Yeah, we can definitely see those front brakes glowing in the dark. I've raced here, as we talked during the 24, and it's an exciting scenery. It's an exciting track during the night time, and it's cool to race during the day, but I agree. The night brings something special.
Something special. Daniel Mancinelli then has done everything that he needed to do in qualifying. The guy that's driving for North America. Alongside him, he has Bjorn Grossman, who, for my money, was an outstanding driver yesterday, because he started second from last row of the grid and fought his way up to, I think it was P7 in the race overall. It was a stunning performance from the Octane 126 engineered Bjorn Grossman, who of course is the TrofeoPirelli champion. Let's take a look right now at the highlights of what went on under the lights yesterday. What a sight to behold then, as the green flag flew and race number 1 for TrofeoPirelli got underway. And it was going to be action and drama all the way. Cars entering turn 1 and the infield section for the very first time of asking, as they're all jostling for position. Florian Merckx just running a little bit out, but running even further out onto the grass for a rallycross moment was Eric Chung. And that was the early stages of the race, but thankfully he was able to recover the car from there. Martin Nelson had a huge blowout. Vladimir Atoev doing a very good job in avoiding the stricken Scuderia Autoropa car. Regrettably, that was the end of Martin Nelson's race, and a huge amount of work for the Scuderia Autoropa team to do overnight to get that car back out on the grid for today's race, which it is. That called for a safety car for the recovery of that car. And then the restart to be had. Philip Barron was looking extremely lively, trying to overcome Marcello Puglisi for P3, and whichever way he looked, he was denied. But this particular point where Marcello made sure that Philip Barron didn't have enough room to go past certainly thwarted that attempt. but eventually Philip Barron would find his way past the Marcello Puglisi car. And reinforcing the fact that Tony Villander has said there are many lines that you can use here at this Daytona circuit, and there he got underneath the number 9 car, and with the traction coming out of that turn, he was able to make that position his. It was one of the overtakes of the day in the race yesterday, and you can really see those brake discs really lighting up. But what a result it was for this man who was going to take the win. Something very special to see that checkered flag fall here at Daytona. So Kaufman, the winner yesterday, going from P5 on the grid today. Carlos then, he is the North America 2016 champion, and of course coming from North America, Tony, where he will have a slight advantage over some of the European competitors is of course the track time that he's had here at this unique circuit.
Yeah, this track, the layout looks pretty simple, but actually it takes some time to get used to it. The straight lines are so important, so the exit prior to that straight line is the most important corner. So I would repeat, the turn 6 and the exit of bus stop are the 2 critical parts. The kink itself, if you do it flat or if you risk more, we're talking about 1/10. But
right.
if you exit right, the turn 6 or bus stop is easily 3 to 5 tenths.
So that's a big margin, isn't it?
Big margin, because after that corner, the flat out part is so huge. So
okay.
Exit always very important at this track. And as you said, more running you get on this circuit, faster you get all the time.
Thank you, Tony. Race is about to get underway here in Daytona for TrofeoPirelli. So 2 rolling laps, we think, for another historic moment, of course, Tony, is the fact that these are the last races for the 458 Challenge Evo before we adopt as the challenge car, the car, of course, which you use, which is the 488, which is a real step up from this car, isn't it?
Yeah, it's we've seen in GT racing also every new model is a big step in the lap time, a big step in the preparation of the race car. 458 has treated us really well in challenge, but also in GT racing around the world. So already in GT racing we have the 488, and now the next step is here in challenge.
How big a step is it, Tony, when you go from the 458 to a turbo car? What difference does it make to you as a driver in terms of how you adapt?
Yeah, I mean, when you mention turbo, I think the first thing is the turbo lag, meaning that when you go back on the throttle, how quickly the car responds, how quickly the power hits. Mm-hmm. But with the modern technology, you don't feel it that much. The car is really well prepared, and the drivability is so great. I mean, okay. I don't need to change my driving style. There are few slight things between the braking, rolling to the corner, and how quickly I need to pick up the throttle, but there is not an actual delay on going on power. Then it's up to the championship. There are WEC, they have slightly different POP regulations than the championship, the IMSA WeatherTech here in US, so that's power related, and obviously as drivers we always want as much power as we can get, but the car itself is really great to drive.
Well, we're looking forward to that in the challenge next year, and of course we'll be bringing you details of the calendar, and what a phenomenal calendar it's going to be for 2017 as well. There is Sam Smith, who is the TrofeoPirelli AM champion for Europe, and how dominant Sam Smith has been, Tony. He won that championship with 2 rounds still to go, so he's almost we're hoping that he will return to the challenge next year, where he'll be elevated to a pro driver, and I think that's exactly where he should be. But Sam has done a fantastic job. Bjorn Grossman has done a fantastic job to take the pro championship once again. So we are littered with very strong drivers throughout, and of course Fabio Lima is one of those drivers, a former single-seater racer, and he's out there on track as well, also driving for that Octane 126 team, which engineer Bjorn Grossman also. So we can see the cars then as they head to turn 1 on the first of these formation laps. 2 formation laps to come for the Ferrari Challenge drivers then, and this the final race in their TrofeoPirelli season. They do still have their world final race to come tomorrow, and there's something very, very special about that as well. They'll be as equally determined to win that race as they will to win this one. Pleased to say that Martin Nelson's team, Scuderia Autoropa, have worked jolly hard overnight and have got that car back out on track, and whilst he's going to be right at the very back of the grid, delighted to see him back out on track. So Mancinelli and Grossman then in the front row, then it is McNeil and Puglisi, Kaufmann, Liu, then it's Vladimir Atuev and Florian Merckx, John Farano and Romanelli then occupying the first 5 rows of the grid. And this is where the tension and the anticipation in the stomach must come, Tony Villander.
Yeah, it's been a long week, long preparation prior to this event, sending cars, sending all the crew over here in Daytona, Florida. It's been a long week to the drivers, a lot of running, a lot of track time.
Yes.
And when we get towards that Sunday final, world final, everything just gets more exciting. I know quite a few drivers here at this grid, a lot of talented drivers. What I always say, never underestimate the level. These are the world level Ferrari Challenge drivers. Each championship have their specialists, and these guys really know how to drive this car, how to take most out of it. And these are really, really talented race car drivers.
Nice to see Jacques Diver in the number 99 car back. He's in TrofeoPirelli. He is last year's Copa Shell champion. Jacques Diver, the Belgian-based driver. She lives in the UK and is one of the sport's very, very nice guys. Good to see Jacques back out on track in the Ferrari Challenge here at the World Finals, ahead of his racing campaign for 2017, which in truth he's not told me quite what he's going to be doing yet, but it's definitely going to be in a Ferrari. Of that you can be sure. So Mancinelli, Grossman, McNeil, Puglisi, Kaufmann and Liu then, and they will begin to grid up behind the safety car, ready for the start of this second of their TrofeoPirelli races. To the left of your picture there is Florian Merckx. He is the Asia Pacific 2016 champion, and the SMP racing driver is number 39, Vladimir Atuev, another very, very talented driver indeed. And you can see the number 59 car of John Farano just coming into the picture there. And what a sight this is. And something that some of the drivers have been telling me, Tony, is that they didn't realize before they got here that when they're on the 31-degree banking, how compromised your visibility is.
Yeah, banking, I still remember my first laps out there. That's something you will remember. Is completely different experience. The way the car behaves, how far you can see. You can see only 20 meters, 10 to 20 meters further than your race car. And also the way the car reacts. You're always on full throttle, and you need to really drive the car smoothly, not too sharp car controls.
Okay, green flag goes down for TrofeoPirelli race 2. Let's get racing, 30-minute duration. And Daniel Mancinelli then into turn number 1. Look at Puglisi around the outside there and already making progress is Carlos Kaufmann then. Following his win yesterday, he wants to be back on the podium again today. But at the moment, it's Mancinelli that leads the way. But Bjorn Grossman is hassling him and harrying him as they make their way onto the infield section of the circuit through the International Horseshoe, which is turn number 3. Sam Smith there in the number 92 car on the outside of Florian Merckx. Sam Smith, another one of those drivers that's making good progress in the very early stages of this race. Bjorn Grossman sticking right with the 238 car of Mancinelli.
Yeah, really clean start. Everybody was quite respectful at the start. Mancinelli got a good start, but you can see that Grossman is really putting the pressure on him, and already going to turn 5, there was a close moment.
Yeah.
Grossman a little bit lost the racing line. He needed to avoid Mancinelli's car. Also, Cooper McNeil is an experienced racer. He races also in IMSA WeatherTech. He's lying in 3rd position at the moment.
So Cooper McNeil, who was very much part of the front-running action yesterday. And there is Bjorn Grossman then in the Octane 126 car, already the TrofeoPirelli European champion, hounding down Daniel Mancinelli as they head to the bus stop for the first time of asking. To the inside there, cars absolutely side by side. Tony has done it.
Really, really impressive overtaking. He never gave up, and Kaufmann really aggressive. There was no contact.
No.
Really respectful also from McNeil's side, but really, really nice move.
Puglisi now is the one that is harrying McNeil. What an overtake that was from Carlos Kaufmann. Really, really good to watch, and not where we would necessarily expect an overtake to come, but it happened, and it happened very cleanly.
Yeah, normally it's not a corner to go 2 side by side, and these guys did it. Awesome.
So the standings on screen for you at the moment, the way it looks then. And again, that's Florian Merckx to the outside. No, that's Marcello Puglisi.
Yeah, I think Puglisi and Cooper McNeil were fighting, and I think Kaufmann went off also in turn one. He went really wide, so he lost the position. And now we see Puglisi is really aggressive. So when you lose the momentum for 1 to 2 corners, this is what happens.
Vladimir Atoev is another one that's looking very, very lively too. And John Ferrano in the number 59 car is looking at it as well. Keep an eye on that SMP Racing liveried car of Vladimir Atoev. He's making very, very good progress indeed. So too is Sam Smith, who's on the outside of the John Ferrano car at the moment. There is Sam Smith in car number 92, then outside there on the dirty part of the track. It's not going to be as quick, and John Ferrano is able to just maintain his position for the moment.
Yeah, what looks like is Kaufmann already had set his sight to the leaders. Here we see the overtaking from 4th to 3rd. Nice move to inside on McNeil. McNeil stays inside, no contact, and makes the overtaking during the bus stop, in the middle of the bus stop. Really aggressive and a nice move. But after that, I think Kaufmann, he set his sight to the leaders.
Yes.
He got caught in the momentum, went too wide in turn one and lost a few positions now.
Great shame, because all that good work undone, really, wasn't it? So the standings for European drivers, Grossman, Puglisi, Lima and Vezzoni. We'll continue to put those graphics on screen for you. So whether you're an Asia Pacific fan or a European fan, you can see that Merckx, Hudsoy and Wyatt for Asia Pacific, and we'll bring the North American standings up for you as well. Vladimir Atoev then, who is currently running in P6 at the moment. There are the North American standings. It's Mancinelli, McNeil, Kaufmann and Liu. So Vladimir Atoev and John Ferrano has shown Sam Smith a clean pair of heels for the moment as they go into turn one once again here. 30-minute duration race here at Daytona, and Mancinelli sets the fastest lap, a 1:48.402. Tyres up to temperature now, presumably, and he's just eked out a 7/10 of a gap over Bjorn Grossman.
Yeah, now after the start, pressures are coming up, the heat, the car is starting to react normal.
Yeah.
I think the pace is settling down. What always happens at the start of the race, there is the margin when you feel the race car, when you can take the car to the limit, that is the time when you can gain most of the positions. After that, everything sort of settles down, and behind the leaders we see some great fighting.
Sam Smith and John Ferrano, they've been fighting lap after lap after lap, side by side, and Sam Smith has really got the bit between his teeth here, and by having, he was going to have the inside line at that point, and he's done enough, hasn't he, as they return to the oval.
Yeah, great overtaking. Going to turn 6, as we talked, when you hit that banking, important is the exit of that corner. Now the car behind will get that slipstream again and have a go in the braking to bus stop.
Vladimir Atoev, we can see there in car number 39, who's currently running P6, and you're absolutely right, because again, they're side by side. This is Sam Smith and John Ferrano. Into the bus stop they go, with Smith just with his nose in front. So yes, Ferrano was able to take advantage of that slipstream. You're absolutely right.
Yes, slipstream is one most important thing here in the race, and it's difficult to pull a gap to the car following you. And now we see Mancinelli. The previous lap he did the fastest lap of the race, but Grossman is responding as well, and last lap Grossman is 2/10 faster.
Wow. So the fight at the front continues to be on then, as John Ferrano once again takes a look at Sam Smith, whether he was lining him up there. And there is Sam Smith indeed. Smith and Ferrano together and stay virtually welded together. Vladimir Atoev and Marcello Puglisi, they're continuing to fight tooth and nail. That's the battle that's going on for P5 at the moment. And on the inside of Marcello Puglisi, there goes the Liu car in 299. So Marcello Puglisi there on the 299 car of Liu from North America, and Sam Smith trying to buy into that battle as well. He's looking very, very feisty today is Sam Smith in the number 92 car. Again, he takes that wide line, but he seems to be able to get some traction off the back of that corner.
Yeah, Puglisi is holding this group a little bit, and number 92 Smith, he was able to keep the line outside, and to the turn 6 he again had the inside line. Good driving.
So Sam Smith then, definitely one to watch. He's moved himself up to P7 now. He is already the European TrofeoPirelli AM champion. Very much hoping that we will see him back, supported by Stratstone Ferrari in the Ferrari Challenge for 2017. Though as they head towards the bus stop now. And Puglisi there.
Yeah, looks like Puglisi's car is not so fast on the straight line.
Sure.
He lost 2 places now, and almost like he was not fighting for the place anymore.
So that was Sam Smith going around the outside, and you just have got to have so much faith and be very, very brave. But he did stick it out, didn't he?
Yeah, really nice move. There is quite a good grip outside, not only one racing line in the infield, and he was really showing the way to read the lines and read the race strategy, and good, cool overtaking.
John Ferrano then through on Lou, and he moves up to P7. That was an overtake going into turn number 1 here as they go on to the infield section. Now Sam Smith has got Vladimir Atoev firmly in his target sights as the next one to strike off the list as he continues to move his way upwards. Florian Merckx there on the 299 car. Tony, you were absolutely right. You spotted that earlier on, that the car just for some reason wasn't working right.
Yeah, Puglisi was going backwards since the start of the race. There was some aggressive moves on him, but somehow looked like today the car was not working perfectly, and on that last back straight he lost the speed completely, so he came into the pits.
Florian Merckx in the 401 car is the car that we watch at the moment. And, another very, very fast lap from Bjorn Grossman. Thanks for pointing that out. He's gone another 2 tenths quicker than Mancinelli. And there's Fabio Lima then in the number 68 car that we can see, and Henrik Edman, and he's involved in that battle as well. So Mancinelli then is being chased, and the margin between the two of them last time around was just 6 tenths.
Yeah, looks like the 2 leaders are a little bit on the class of their own, lapping really quick lap times, almost a qualifying pace. Then the 3rd place, McNeil, is now over 5 seconds behind them.
Just caught sight of a slowing car there. It looked to me like that could be the, yes it is, it's the Vladimir Atoev SMP racing car as he's dropping down the order now. So he sadly has lost his P7 position, and obviously a problem with that car. So sad to see him out of the race. Got it going again.
Yeah, he stopped before bus stop, but as we can see, he got the car restarted, but lost all the places.
In the meantime, the battle for P9 and P10 is between Romanelli and Musso. And, well, that's almost, Tony, a carbon copy of what Eric Chung did yesterday.
Yes, looks like at turn 3 he likes to go sideways and to show us a good images on the slow motion pictures.
Eric Chung, of course, is one of the F1 clienti as well. He owns a Formula 1 car, and he's absolutely has Ferrari running through his veins, and great to see him out on track. Daniel Mancinelli then continues to lead, but not by much from Bjorn Grossman. Just 5 tenths between the two of them. So Mancinelli then for North America, then it's Grossman for Europe, then we see McNeil for North America, Kaufman for North America, before we see Sam Smith, who's the best of the AMs. So leader for TrofeoPirelli actually is Bjorn Grossman, but leader of the race overall is Daniel Mancinelli as they go through the bus stop now, and Grossman is really firing at it.
Yeah, Mancinelli made a mistake coming out of bus stop, and that gives the opportunity now to Grossman going to turn 1 to have a go and try to overtake for the lead.
Well, Eric Chung is having a real time of it out there, isn't he? Look at the front of that car, full of grass and dirt and all sorts as he spins and pirouettes his way across the grass and gravel. Now, is Grossman going to be close enough to make a move going into turn number 1? Tony Verlander said this is where you're going to set it up. He's looking outside at the moment. Will he dive to the inside? Mancinelli puts that car right in the middle of the track, Tony.
Yeah, good protecting driver from Mancinelli. As I said, he made a little mistake coming out from bus stop, and now we can see that Grossman probably has some more speed in his car. Mancinelli started the race, pushed really hard, almost qualifying pace. Did he overcook his tires? Did he take the most out of his tires a little bit too early? Still almost 20 minutes to go. Temperatures during the day are completely different than in the night race. That is the challenge also for the drivers, for the teams as well, setting up those right tire pressures, and the car drivers need to drive the car in a clever, wise way, not to try take too much and then struggle in the last part of the race.
And of course, the one that is being really aggressive here is Bjorn Grossman, because of course he's wanting to take the lead. So he's having to push a bit harder, isn't he?
Yeah, but also on the other side, Grossman has a little advantage on the slipstream. So even if he's few tenths down, here we see all the dirt.
That's what Eric Chung threw onto the tarmac, isn't it? And my goodness me, that must be a heart-in-the-mouth moment, Tony.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes those things happen in the race. There was some dirt, some grass on the racetrack, little sideways movement, but not that much. Good car control from both of the leaders. As I said, Grossman has the advantage of slipstream. At the same time, Mancinelli is not giving up. So these two drivers are really pulling away from the other group.
Okay, and yellows there, as you can see. Wonder if that will be for the, they've got to slow down, haven't they? And safety car has been deployed. Now, this, for Daniel Mancinelli, is the worst case scenario, isn't it, Tony?
This is definitely a heartbeat racer. I mean, everything starts again. You don't know how many laps the safety car is in for.
No.
Definitely we will, I mean, most probably we will see a restart. Everything is back together. As we can see, the gap between the first two, it was over 9 seconds already. There's some debris on the racetrack, so race director made the right call for the safety reasons to throw in the safety car. But as I said, now all the group is back together. You need to have a good restart, have an advantage on the opening straight, going to turn one. Grossman, we've seen he's quite aggressive. He showed his nose already a few times, so we will see at the restart what happens.
So we're looking center picture. It's the car behind Jacques Diver there, and that looks like a tire exploded.
Yeah, right rear. This is a demanding track because of the banking to the rear tire especially. And
well, that was Martin Fuentes, and it's exactly what happened yesterday to Martin Nelson.
Yeah, good car control from Fuentes because it's easy to lose the control of the car and have quite big damage. He kept it nice and clean.
As a hugely successful racing driver that you are, Tony Verlander, how frustrating is it when you're in the lead and the safety car is called for and you think, damn it?
Yeah, I mean, in US generally, I did this year the IMSA WeatherTech Championship. We had different length of races from 2 hour 45 even to 24 hour races. And in US in particular, they like really to throw in the safety car and have the race restarted many occasions. And it's enjoyable for the crowd, enjoyable for the TV viewers, but not so much for the drivers. There's always a great challenge when you restart. As I said, you need to sort of redo all the procedure of covering the lines, be ready when the green is yelled by the engineer, and it definitely takes energy out of you.
Yeah.
Once you get to a normal racing rhythm and you're leading the race, that is the best possible position a race car driver can be. But then when everybody is back together, that is the worst pressure, worst in a way that you really need to take everything out of you.
Yeah. Thank you. We're looking back from the onboard camera from the Hublot safety car. We can see that the debris has been picked up by marshals that are out there doing a great job. Quick to react and get that debris, which is exactly the right thing to do from a safety perspective. You don't want to be running over any of that, and another high-speed tire explosion. That's the last thing any of us wants to see. So just looking down the order to see where our NASCAR star Rusty Wallace is, running in P16 for North America. Good showing from Rusty Wallace. So Bjorn Grossman then, a little bit of as you point out on the screen there, rubbing his race in, Tony Verlander.
Yeah, it's been a close battle between Mancinelli and Grossman. These guys really showed the pace the first part of this race. Looks like they have the pace that others cannot match, but I think the race win will be between those two excellent drivers.
Florian Merckx then is the 401 car then. He has competed in the Asia Pacific Championship this year with a huge degree of success. Florian Merckx, star driver. And there we can see the 439 car of Han. all these 458s looking absolutely magnificent here in Daytona. We are in the final race of TrofeoPirelli for season 2016, barring the Gold Roof Special, the World Final, which comes tomorrow. That is our race leader in the race overall, Daniel Mancinelli, who of course has raced in the European Championship. And here comes fascinating fact number 45 about the Daytona Raceway, and that is, as we just looked at the lake there, that the aggregate that built the banking here is what was extracted from what is now the lake. There you go. Standings in Asia Pacific: Florian Merckx, Huda Soy and Steve Wyatt, the 1, 2, 3. And in North America, it's Daniel Mancinelli, then it's McNeil, Kaufman and Liu. There is Martin Nelson, who had a high-speed player yesterday. Doing very well, is up into P22 in the race overall. Standings in the AM category of the European Challenge is Smith, Ferrano, Hedman and Jacques Diver. And we're on board with Tommaso Rocca, the Rosso Corsa racer, also an AM racer in the European Challenge. And we have 12 minutes of race duration remaining. We're still behind the safety car with no news yet on when the safety car is going to be brought in. And we see, as we saw earlier on, the retirement of the Marcello Puglisi car, which was sad to see because initially, certainly, they'd done a brilliant job in qualifying. In the North American AM Championship, Romanelli, Musso, Johnson and Weiland, then the 1, 2, 3, 4. Lights are out on the safety car. Thanks for pointing that out, Tony. So we're about to go racing once again then at the conclusion of this lap. And we're on the back straight here at Daytona now. The safety car will peel off through Speedway 4 into the pit lane, and we will be back to racing it. Is this the best opportunity for Grossman to get that, wrestle that lead away from Mancinelli?
Yeah, he needs to be awake, accelerate at exactly the same time as the leader. The challenge is that he cannot overtake the leader before the start and finish line. So the only possibility is braking to turn 1. Yesterday we saw some penalties, drivers anticipating those overtaking moves before the line. Yeah, this is tough moment and one of the key points of this race.
It's also critical for Mancinelli, isn't it? Because once the safety car peels off, as it does now, it's down to Mancinelli to control the pace now, isn't it, Tony?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the drivers are really experienced drivers, and as we saw, some of the drivers tried to anticipate those accelerating moments.
Okay, into turn 1 they go then. Sam Smith on the outside now of the 244 car of Kaufman. Not quite going to have the momentum to seize that opportunity, and certainly from Mancinelli's point of view, he controlled that restart seemingly perfectly. So there is John Ferrano right on the back of Sam Smith. There is Florian Merckx going around, long way around the outside there, and is able to carry the speed though, and now dives to the inside of the Liu car, which becomes the outside for the next turn. And there is Bjorn Grossman then, and Mancinelli is leading the way, but and this a replay requested by the race control then of that overtake that we saw earlier on through the bus stop, Tony.
In my opinion, that was a clean move.
Thing, yeah.
I didn't see anything bad happening there.
Okay, through sector 1 they go there. Mancinelli, Grossman, McNeil and Kaufman then.
Interestingly, Kaufman
really
staying high on the banking.
Right next to that very unforgiving concrete wall as Grossman reels in Daniel Mancinelli then as they head into the bus stop chicane. It's as close as he has been, and John Ferrano is really pushing Sam Smith now. Some dust being kicked up on the exit of the chicane, turn number 11, as they back onto the Speedway 3 turn now. And there you can see John Ferrano, who's going to get the benefit of the slipstream off the back of the Sam Smith car, and it's now that he'll be trying to set up his move going into turn number 1.
And Kaufman, McNeil still fighting. Kaufman still staying high on the banking. Looks like Kaufman's car has really good speed and cool, nice overtaking from outside, going to turn 1, but again he goes wide.
And John Ferrano was denied by Sam Smith as well. Still Daniel Mancinelli ahead.
Kaufman definitely today was one of the drivers who had good speed in the car, but the challenge of turn 1 was too much today. 2 costly driver mistakes.
Yes.
And going too wide.
Okay, let's see it again in replay here. A couple of drive-through penalties, and it's for Rusty Wallace. Well, NASCAR star gets a drive-through penalty, and also getting a drive-through penalty is the number 41 car of Frère Jean-Marie Fangio. So there you can see confirmation of the drive-through penalties on screen now. Sam Smith then with the Carlos Kaufman car ahead. And right behind is John Ferrano, who's had a couple of really strong looks at Sam Smith, but just for the moment, Sam Smith has opened up a little bit of a margin. So too is Mancinelli, who has 7/10 over Bjorn Grossman. Fastest lap came from Bjorn Grossman. It was lap 4, a 1:48.167. They're now lapping in the 150s and high 150s at that. Through the bus stop they go then. A real lump going into that bus stop, isn't it, Tony? You can see the cars, the suspension really lifts as we look at the Jacques Driver car, number 99.
Yeah, going into bus stop, you need to really wait the car to settle down. If you are too aggressive, if you want to go too early on the throttle, it's easy to lose the control.
Fabio Lima and Florian Merckx together there, and they're battling for P8 and P9, and the Octane 126 driver Lima goes ahead of Florian Merckx. So into turn 1 they go. What have we got? 6 3/4 minutes of racing time left. Florian Merckx really seems to have just not got. It's either there's, not, the car is at 99% or he's at 99% with the track.
It's a challenging track. It's not easy to be competitive here. We see Limer, who is a GP2 champion. GP2 is a category just below Formula 1. Limer is in 8th positions and is showing the how competitive this field of drivers is.
That's Steve Wyatt, I think, in 477 that has gone around, but is able to rejoin, as we saw the drive-through penalties being taken by Rusty Wallace and also the car of Frédéric Fangio.
Yeah, I think there was a contact.
So that in replay then through the tyre smoke haze. And we're back to the live race now. Very impressive driving from Jacques Driver. And now Mancinelli continues to open up. He's pulled another 4/10 over him, hasn't he?
Yeah, last lap impressive from Mancinelli, 9/10 quicker. Sorry, 1.1 seconds quicker than Grossman. Grossman must have made a small mistake.
Sure.
That cost him over a second, because before safety car, those guys were lapping 1/10 from each other. And now, last lap, Mancinelli was able to pull over a second faster lap.
Fabio Lima now is reeling in the Lou car ahead. This is going to go into turn number 1. Fabio Lima will dive to the inside, presumably to try and make that overtake, but Lou puts the car exactly well. Oh, and he does do it. Fabio goes through. Is that a slight mistake by Lou, do you think? He just seemed to have the inside initially and then went wide.
Yeah, racing line there normally opens a little bit at the middle of the corner.
Okay.
It's like a double apex corner, and then Limer just dived in. But I think he wasn't able to.
No.
He wasn't able to pull it.
So the 299 car remains ahead of Fabio Lima at the moment. He's certainly someone that in the closing stages of this race is looking very lively indeed. And it's continuing to pressure and hound. So we have Octane 126 drivers, those cars engineered by that Octane 126 team that are currently running P8 and P2 in the race. Bjorn Grossman, some 7/10. He's picked the pace up now as Bjorn Grossman, as Lima goes for it on the inside there. Now that he's got the traction coming out, hasn't he? And it's job done.
Yeah, Limer was quite aggressive going in. There was not much pace left, but at the same time, the other driver tried to control, tried to cover his place, but no real contact, and I think was clean overtaking maneuver.
So Lima moves up to P7 in the race overall, and is actually P2 in the TrofeoPirelli Europe category. Mancinelli Still leading the way by some 1.4 seconds over Bjorn Grossman. Then it's McNeil is P3, Kaufman is P4. Then we see Sam Smith still ahead of John Ferrano. Then it is the Fabio Lima car that we saw in P7 following that overtake just moments ago. So the distinctive logo of the livery of the Scuderia Autoropa car going into turn number 1 there, a bit skittish off the back end from the 285 car. That Johnson car looking very, very loose at the back end, but controlling it. Musso top speed then, 306 kilometers per hour. Phenomenal speed. There is the number 10 car of Henrik Hedman. And there once again is that 285 car that we were talking about just a moment ago from Steve Johnson, who's almost just a little bit of contact on the Musso car, but not quite. He's able to control it through that little kink, and all is well. Sam Smith goes through on the left-hand side of our picture, ahead of John Ferrano and Fabio Lima, who next on Lima's target sites will be John Ferrano, who's driven a fantastic race in this P6 overall. With just on 2 minutes of the race left to run. Here is Daniel Mancinelli then, our race leader, racing in the North American series of the Ferrari Challenge. For the collection, into the bus stop he goes. Got it all perfectly hooked up following the restart brought about by the safety car being sent out so that debris could be removed from the track. And we're into the final couple of minutes of racing. And Bjorn Grossman then, leader of the TrofeoPirelli European race and champion himself. But despite a valiant effort, Tony Verlander, he's tried very, very hard. But in the final stages of the race, Mancinelli has done enough to see off any threat.
Yeah, Mancinelli has done everything he needed to cover that lead of the race. Pulled the gap just enough before the safety car, and he's redone it again. Good control of the race overall. Grossman had his moments, but he wasn't able to pull a real overtaking chance, or he wasn't able to pull it off. Kaufman, I would say, had the speed. He's still P4, but those two driver errors cost him a lot. He had to fight back. Cooper McNeil has done a solid race, not the speed to match the leaders, and clean enough to pull away from Kaufman.
Well, we're on the final lap then as we look at Florian Merckx, who's P9 overall, but leader in the Asia Pacific series. Of course, 3 distinct geographical regions that the Ferrari Challenge races in. Not only North America, but also across Europe and Asia Pacific as well. As we look at our race leader, Daniel Mancinelli then, who's racing in the North American series on the banking, the 31-degree banking here, which forms part of this Daytona International Speedway and the Ferrari Challenge Finale Mondiale here, celebrating the glittering end event of the season in Florida. So Daniel Mancinelli through the bus stop for the final time until it comes to the world final races. And Mancinelli then into Speedway 3 now, which for the purposes of us becomes turn 12 before it's Speedway 4, and then onto the tri-oval where he will see the checkered flag being raised, ready to salute the TrofeoPirelli race winner here in Daytona in race 2. The checkered flag falls on Daniel Mancinelli to take the win from Bjorn Grossman taking P2. McNeil is P3, then it's Kaufman P4. Another stunning drive from Sam Smith to take P5, then John Ferrano, Fabio Lima, Lou, Merckx, Romanelli, Musso, Johnson, as they all cross the line now at this hallowed tarmac of Daytona. And there, just look at the delight in the teams. There's Octane 126, and this is something that perhaps we don't make enough of. The driver's been out there, he's won the race, Tony Verlander, but behind the scenes, there's a huge team of people working on giving him the car to be able to do that.
Yeah, always in motorsport, it's not a single driver effort, it's a team effort. Preparation in the workshop, preparation at the track, as we saw in the pictures, tears from the mechanics. Sometimes you need to work overnight. Driver is resting at the hotel and he comes to the racetrack as a hero and brings the trophy.
Yes.
But it's a lot of dedication from the pit crew, from the whole team, always to achieve these results.
And it's a truism, isn't it, Tony, that they share the joy and they share the pain as well. You know, it really is very much you know, some of the best racing drivers are so integrated with their teams.
Yeah, it's quite interesting to see. Even today in Formula One, many of the drivers use the way in the phrase that let's see what we can do tomorrow.
Sure.
It's not only him, it's not only the driver. It's a pit stop, it's a strategy with the engineers. There's a mechanical side, there's the performance of the race car. Each driver acknowledges if he doesn't have a good enough race car, you cannot do miracles. You just need to work as a team, you need to prepare the race car, you need to give your input to the engineers, and that way improve the speed. Always leave the space to improve your driving, but always work with your team.
And we do see, don't we, on many occasions where, you know, as a driver, you build up such a relationship with your engineer that actually, you know, should a racing driver choose to change teams or choose categories, sometimes takes the engineer with him as well.
Yeah, it takes time, everything to glue together. It takes time. It might take 5 races, it might take 2 full seasons, and suddenly you see a driver that suddenly starts winning and keeps winning. There's many reasons behind the scenes. That is not only that the driver suddenly picked up his game, but it's all together. Trust between the pit crew and the driver, trust with the engineer. Also, if you have an atmosphere in the team that you really feel that you've been supported, that always gives that extra energy when you're driving up there.
The FF Corsa team, they're running across the pit lane to congratulate their AM driver Sam Smith on another stunning drive from him, and mixing it with the pro drivers. John Ferrano as well, equally good in terms of an AM driver up against the pros. So all the cars into the pit lane now, and out comes Kaufmann. He's out of the car, and so too Bjorn Grossman, who's congratulated by team boss from Octane 126, Christian Birchinger, there to congratulate him. Octane 126 have had another phenomenal year in TrofeoPirelli, and sometimes it's just nice to listen into the conversations that are going on. There is John Ferrano just jumping out of his number 59 car. As I said, a really creditable performance from him. It's fantastic. And Sam Smith being congratulated to the very left of your picture. What a fine drive from Sam Smith. So looking forward to seeing him back in the Ferrari Challenge 488 next year. So all the drivers making their way out of the cars now, and Steve Johnson there. Glasses on, harness off.
It's the big one.
Now, WeatherTech. And girls, Tony, you could get me some phone numbers here, couldn't you?
No, absolutely not.
So there is Daniel Mancinelli then. Diminutive little chap is Daniel, but what a racer.
He's a talented race car driver. I followed him quite a few years, and he's a really good driver.
Good.
Absolutely delighted, and to share that emotion down there is great for us as well. Okay, let's reflect on what was a good race for TrofeoPirelli. Here come the highlights for you to enjoy right now. So as the green flag waved, it was all systems go for TrofeoPirelli. Race 2 here at the Daytona Raceway. Marcello Puglisi was under pressure right from the very start of the race, and was going to end up losing a whole bunch of places and sadly retiring from the race. Sam Smith made his intentions felt straight at the very start, and this was perhaps the overtake of the race all the way around the outside in the bus stop chicane. Fantastic move by Carlos Kaufmann. Really good to watch, and here we can see it in replay. It's just not normally where you would necessarily see an overtake, but that's where it came, and it was all clean, tidy, and however many replays we look at it, it looked good. Tyre exploded behind Jacques Diver, and a very good car control there to keep that out of the wall, and it was a hairy, scary moment, that's for sure, for Martin Fuentes. Safety car was deployed because of debris left all over the circuit. And that meant that Mancinelli was going to have to do it all over again, and that is protect his lead from the hard-charging Bjorn Grossman. I have to be honest, in the second half of the race, punctuated by that safety car, I don't think Mancinelli ever looked like he was under threat from Grossman, who didn't seem to have quite the pace that he did in the first part of the race. TrofeoPirelli, race 2, done. So, poses for photographs. Thomas O'Rourke then removes his crash helmet, and he was one of the drivers that carried our on-board camera. And just discussions going on there with the race engineer. It's a sign language that's unique, Tony Verlander, isn't it?
Yeah, it looked like the sign showed that the car was all over the place.
Classification then, the race overall, Daniel Mancinelli taking the win from Bjorn Grossman, then it was McNeil, Kaufman, Smith, Ferrano, Lima, then Lou taking P8, Florian Merckx taking P9 in the race overall. Bear in mind that in the individual categories, it's a whole different story. We're looking at the race overall with, round out the top 10, it was Romanelli then that took P10 with Musso, Johnson, Hutasoy, Henrik Edman, James Weiland, then it was Martin Nelson. Very good drive from Martin Nelson from the back of the grid to take P16 overall. Good drive from Jacques Diver for P17 as well. And the rest of the classification there for you. All the information, of course, I remind you, races.ferrari.com. That's where you will find all the information as they all make their way towards the podium now for the podium celebrations, which are about to get underway. So, the winner of the European Pro category is this man, who was actually P2 on the road, but takes the win and adds that to his incredible tally of wins in season 2016. Bjorn Grossman, the German driver, driving for the Octane 126 team. Sam Smith for Stratstone Ferrari, engineered by FF Corsa, takes yet another win in a dominant style in the AM category of the European Challenge. Been a fine performance from Sam Smith, who almost glanced at the camera there. He had so much time to spare. Florian Merckx for Asia Pacific takes the win in that category. The car engineered by Baron Service. And then for the AM category in Asia Pacific, Han taking the win for CTF Beijing in the 439 car. And then the winner for Pro North America, and the winner in the race overall for the collection is Daniel Mancinelli. Drove a fantastic race. There was an argument that he won the race in qualifying. Tony?
Yeah, he definitely kept his calm. He knew he had the pace, controlled the race perfectly. Even after race start, he never had any serious threats from behind, and overall great driving, great control and picture of the whole race.
Romanelli then was the winner of the AM category in North America, and there you can see the podium being prepared and the cars being taken back to the pit lane. So many Ferraris here, of course, across the weekend. Not only have we got the 458 Challenge cars, but we have the FXX programs, the F1 Clienti, as well as the GT cars. There's just Ferraris, whichever way you look. It is fantastic. It is such a festival. This whole Finale Mondiale is an event, Tony. For a race fan, is a great event to be at.
Yeah, I just went this morning around the field where there was all the legendary historical street cars,
yes,
race cars, and it's something really unbelievable. I just really hope that the crowd gets and understand what is happening here in Daytona today and this weekend, and it's really something special in USO.
Okay, so the first of many podiums getting underway now. So there is Christian Berchinger, the head honcho from Octane 126, and the rest of the drivers are up there. So it is TrofeoPirelli European podium first of all. So first of the podiums then is TrofeoPirelli. Giancarlo Fisichella makes the trophy presentation. First of all, to our P1, P2 and P3. Fabio Lima receiving his trophy. And Bjorn Grossman receiving his. And Octane 126 get their trophy as well. So Alessandro Vezzoni, Fabio Lima, and Bjorn Grossman, the 1-2-3, as they'll all come together for photographs. But first and foremost, here comes the Pirelli trophy. Shared an airport lounge seat with Alessandro Vezzoni a few weeks ago. Good company. Jolly good driver as well as that man, Bjorn Grossman. Alessandro Vezzoni to the right-hand side of the picture. Bjorn Grossman in the middle, Fabio Lima and Giancarlo Fisichella, Pirelli and Octane 126 all represented as well up there for the photograph. So very fleet of foot is Christian Berchinger from Octane 126 to avoid being soaked in champagne. So the classification then, Grossman, Lima, Vezzoni with Puglisi and Barron. As you can see, Puglisi a non-classification, and unfortunately Philip Barron did not start. So there's a series of 5 or 6 podiums to come across all the categories and all the regions. So we'll bring as many of them to you as we possibly can as we take some more shots of Daniel Mancinelli then. Took a win overall and did it in fine style in the 458 Evo, the 4,400cc. Some slow-mo, good to see. And there is Sam Smith then. So Sam Smith then, who will be at the top of the steps for Pirelli Am. John Ferrano done a fantastic job. Brilliant driving from John Ferrano. And equally brilliant driving from this young man, Sam Smith then. Another success story for the UK. And FF Corse are pretty delighted with Sam Smith as well. Here, welling up here in the commentary booth as the national anthem for Great Britain plays out, and Sam Bird, another top UK racer, then is going to make the trophy presentation. First of all, to our P3 driver. John Ferrano then gets P2. Henrik Hedman, of course. And then Sam Smith taking the very top step of the podium and adding that to what has been a phenomenal collection of trophies for Sam Smith this year. And FF Corsa add another one to their burgeoning mantelpiece as well. Pirelli trophy to be presented, and Sam Bird, who was in comms with us yesterday. Very talented driver, as is that young man as centre picture right now, Sam Smith. So looking forward to seeing him back in the challenge next year. Everyone gets together for the photographs. Great job done. Champagne to be sprayed now. And that's the way that the team can be involved in the celebrations as well. New shirt needed, please. Well done to them all. Fantastic race from the Ferrari Challenge TrofeoPirelli categories for Europe. And, of course, their world final race to come. But the season, insofar as the TrofeoPirelli is concerned, the season is over. But there is the Gold Roof race, the world final to come tomorrow. And we have a Copa Shell race to come in a little bit later on today, as you can see on screen. Thank you so much for being part of it. Bye-bye for now.
place finisher, Steve Wyatt of Australia. Second place finisher, Rinaldi Hudaswait of Indonesia, receiving his award. And the number 1 trophy, Florian Merckx of Belgium. Bottles up. Scamper, scamper. And the champagne spray, initiated by Dan Gurney. The American saying, this is what I want to do to celebrate, continues here. And now to present our trophies, welcome Matteo Torre, Ferrari Greater China Chairman and CEO, to present third place trophy to Xin Jin. Finishing second in the all-Chinese podium, Yanbin Jing. And to our Asia Pacific Pirelli Am champion of the race number 2, Whelan Han. And now the TrofeoPirelli Award being presented by Theo Mayer, Pirelli Motorsport Manager, to Whelan Han, representing his team. Wonderful group photo, and what a wonderful way to cap off a momentous and memorable 2016 season in Victory Lane here for the very first time in North America for the Ferrari Finale Mondiale. And indeed, the podium finishers spraying the champagne in the Ferrari Challenge TrofeoPirelli Am Pacific, folks. Indeed, they are enjoying it. Congratulations. To present these coveted awards, we welcome official Ferrari driver Giancarlo Fisichella, awarding the third place trophy to Venezuelan Carlos Kaufman. American driver Cooper McNeil finishes second and receives the second place trophy. And for the collection from Italy, Daniel Manicelli, the champion. Ferrari Challenge TrofeoPirelli, North America. And the Copa Team Award going to Ferrari of Beverly Hills for their efforts. Indeed, memories to last a lifetime. And the champagne spray, the Veuve Clicquot. Champagne. Why not pour over your head? You deserve it. Congratulations, Cooper. Congratulations. First award to third place finisher Steve Johnson. Second place award to Mark Mutzo from Canada. And our first place driver award, Arthur Romanelli. For North America.